Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Jose. I remodel homes for a living. I've been doing it for, let me see, 8 years. I started working when I was really young. So I'm trying to do a review right here because there's a lot of people online who, man, they talk about tools and everything and they think they know. They really don't know. There's a couple of guys who, you know, they talk about tools and they're pretty much just fanboys. They claim they know about tools, but they really don't. Don't want to say any names. Tools in action. Anyways, yeah, I mean, I've seen a couple of videos on YouTube. The guy that kind of knows some, well, he actually kind of he does know is what is it? Something Carpenter, Roxford Concord Carpenter, something. Rob Billard, whatever his name is. He's pretty good though. He does. He knows a lot about tools, and I give it to him. So here's some really quick facts about Makita. I don't know if you people know, but let me see. They were the first ones to ever create the lithium ion, which is, I mean, you know, they had their NiCad or nickel metal hydrate batteries. They were actually the first ones to invent lithium, the actual 18-volt lithium ion lineup. They invented that. So people who don't know, they invented that. They invented the slide pack, which is this right here. Sliding pack instead of the old packs. Like, I have a lot of sets, so the old you know, the old batteries used to pop up like that, like the wall. Every tool that even Makita lined up like that, but it was NiCad instead of lithium. And the big problem with that is, you know, like you have your little terminal things right there. One day I was using the multi-tool from this kit, and you know, I don't know what happened, but I don't know if you could see, there's the little terminals right there. They can get bent so easy. It's like, it's insane. They can get bent so easy, and then they won't work. And I damaged one of the multi-tools one day. I was just working on the job trying to cut some trim or whatever, and I grabbed the multi-tool from the ryobi and I popped the battery in without even thinking, and I think it bent something, and I tried it. It wasn't working, and I was like, what the hell's going on? So I checked, and I couldn't figure it out, and I saw that one of the terminals was busted. So that's what happened with that. DeWalt's terminals are pretty delicate as well. Well, when they were NiCad, that's why they switched over to lithium ion. They had the pop-ups like this as well that were lithium ion, but they kind of suck. Like I said, they have a whole bunch of little terminals in here that just got beat up, so they switched it to a slide pack. And after Makita came out with the slide pack, if you guys don't know, they came out with it in 2005. So that's when they came out with their lithium lineup. They have had the same battery since 2005. That's like 8 or 9 years now, right? So they haven't changed it. They haven't changed their battery, which is crazy compared to like Ridgid, dewalt, Milwaukee. They have all changed their batteries within like at least 2 or 3 times. Each company has changed their batteries like 2 or 3 times, and which is why you have to start a whole new lineup pretty much. You can't. It's rare that you could run. There probably is a couple brands that you could use, a couple of the older style with the new batteries, but come on, 2 or 3 times. Like just DeWalt. Look at DeWalt. They're pretty much copying Makita. I mean, if you look at their battery, even the size of their battery, they came out with their new 20 volt, which is not really 20 volts, it's 18 volt. They came out with the same style, pretty much the same pop-up. They try to even use the same sliding mechanism, but they can't. They can't copy. I mean, if people don't know, Makita's like 3 steps ahead, right? So here's another ryobi charger right here. I mean, look at the terminals, right? It's not a smart charger. Same thing as DeWalt. Like DeWalt, Milwaukee, all of them did not have a smart charger. They're barely coming out with smart chargers just now. Makita, they have had the same charger since 2005. Just the way they built these things is crazy, right? So if you look at their charger, they have had the same charger. Only the old one was green or whatever, but it's exactly the same thing. I mean, if you look at it, it's crazy because it actually forces cool air into the battery. Makita was the first one to come out with a microprocessor to make it, you know, to find out what battery it measures voltage, current, the current voltage, temperature, and I forgot what else, but it measures three different things, 3 different levels for the battery to charge the fastest that it can. But I mean, just look at it. The slide pack right here that they have, it protects the terminals of the microprocessor and for when you put the slide pack on. So if you drop something, it's not really going to damage that or anything. And not only does it do that, but it also works so when your battery is being cooled, it kind of keeps the cooling to keep circulating round and round. If you look at it, See, goes in perfect in here. You don't have any problems sliding it in and out. It just goes in and out. You see? I've used the Milwaukee, I've used dewalt, and man, it's a struggle. Ridgid, I had a whole kit of Ridgid, and for the people who don't know, Ridgid, Ryobi, Milwaukee is all made from the same company, TTI. They also make Hoover, Dirt Devils, and a whole bunch of other products, but that's why they have a lot of similar features. Their slide packs, everybody's like all talking about, oh, why doesn't Makita have the fuel gauge on their batteries? And I'll tell you why. Because Ridgid, Milwaukee, and Ryobi, and now dewalt, they all have their you know, their fuel gauge on their batteries. But I'll tell you where that's a big downfall, because this set right here, I had to return two of these batteries, right? I had to return 2 of these batteries because I remodel homes. I do everything from drywall, texture, windows, doors, trim. Painting is one of my specialties. I've been doing that for a really long time. And you know, I actually know everything, a lot of things about the trade, unlike these guys that post videos and don't really know anything. They only know 1 or 2 trades. I know a little bit about everything. I know all about framing, you know, 16 on center studs, you know, putting the felt strips on the 2x4s, making sure your walls are plumb with the big old long level all the way across, so you don't see any messed up joints or seams on the drywall. I know all that stuff, using the hot box to mud the seams and everything you can imagine. I know how to do everything. The corner tools, texture, you know, knocking it down, spraying it with the hopper or with the Graco gun. I mean, you can ask me questions and I'll answer them. I know everything about the trades, almost everything, pretty much. A lot of things. I know I look young, but I've been doing it for a really, really long time. I'm 26, but you know, that's what I love to do. I do it every day. I do it for a living. I do it to make money. And I just hate all these people that put videos up here. They talk about tools like they actually know, or they work there every day. They're just fanboys pretty much. You know, unlike Concord Carpenter, he works the trades. He knows what's up. Tools in action, they don't know what's going on, man. They just like tools, but they don't know anything about them. Oh yeah, they read off a sheet of paper, but when you actually have to go out to the job site, it's a whole different ball game, man. Makita's batteries, they charge in 30 minutes. The 3 amp-hour batteries charge in 30 minutes. Milwaukee, dewalt, all those other brands, they try to copy 3 amp, and it would take at least an hour to charge. Their 4 amp-hour batteries, time me. I'm serious. They charge. They say they have a 30-minute charger. It's all bullshit. Their batteries charge in an hour and 30 minutes. I'm not even lying. I put this on the charger when it completely died. It took an hour and 30 minutes to charge it from 0 to full. That's a really long time. Even Milwaukee, even dewalt's 4 amp-hour batteries will charge in an hour and 30 minutes. You see right there, it says 4 amp. Okay? You guys can test it. Check it out. That's why at the end of the day, there's no comparison to Makita, right? Makita, like I said, they've had the same battery. You see those little slits right there? So when it slides into the charger, that's where it ventilates the air, it cools the battery. They haven't changed it in all those years, right? And so we were talking about the battery thing, the fuel gauge. So I was using their batteries. I was cutting some roots down, and the roots, they just got, you know, it was really hot that day, but still, I mean, you would expect for your batteries and all that stuff to be smart, right? So I was cutting the roots, and right with the Sawzall, the battery just died on me. And I had the charger in the cool area in the shade, so the battery was pretty warm from being used, you know, cutting those roots on the ground. I mean, it's a tough task. But I threw it on the charger, expecting it for, you know, just to charge it or whatever. But it started charging it instantly. It didn't cool it down. The temperature wasn't too hot, and it was burning hot, right? I threw it on here. I don't know if they barely put this technology on here or not, but like I said, man, it just charged my battery. Even if it was super hot, I think it burned the cells. It burned the battery cells or the life, because I was sitting there trying to use the compact batteries and the 4 amp-hour batteries, which took I don't know how long to charge. Supposedly it was charged. I threw it on the Sawzall again, and yeah, I read fully charged right when I checked the fuel gauge. I threw it on the Sawzall, and within 2 minutes of use, I'm not even lying, 2 minutes of use, the battery was completely dead again. And so what I'm getting to is these fuel gauges do not work for the tool. Like, I mean, they work, but it's your battery can die at any minute. And do you really want to keep checking your fuel gauge every time you want to see, you know, while you're using the tool is the best idea. So that's where Makita, they came out with something ingenious, and they're probably going to do this into all their tools, right? While you're using your tool, see right here, I just pushed the trigger once. I don't know if you can see that, but it says the the battery life, I mean, you just push it once, and as you're using your tool, you will see how much battery is used. And it just stays there. It shows you how much you're using. So even if you do get a defective battery, it's going to tell you. It's going to be like, oh shit, this is a bad battery. Right away, it's going to drain to 0, which has never happened to me, but it will, right? And Makita was the first one to come out with the smart charger that if your battery is too hot, it's not going to charge. And not only that, it has different ringtones. You could change it so it could have different ringtones, and that's awesome. It's like, you know, I'm over here. I mean, yeah, I have my radio on when I'm working or whatever. But if I need a battery right away, all I have to do is just hear that little ringtone, and that's that. You know, my battery's charged, it's done, it's ready for me to go. So that's the coolest thing about Makita, right? That right there, I love that about Makita. You know, they're new. They were actually the ones that came out with the brushless technology in 2003. For the people who don't know, they were the ones that came out with brushless technology in 2003. Why they didn't patent it, I don't know. They were the first ones to do the little afterglow effect on their lights. I think they were the first ones to put a light in there. But they were the ones that developed the afterglow. So a lot of people started copying that. Ryobi has it, but it's not really afterglow. It's just a regular lights. So you guys should be checking that stuff out. Like I said, I don't know, I've been using all different types of tools my whole life. There's nothing that compares to Makita, man. You guys should really just check it out. They have the biggest 18-volt lineup. They have, like, I think 75 tools plus. So you guys should really be checking that stuff out, man. This is something that nobody else has. Ryobi, they came out with their new color, but it's only 50 tools plus. It's not really, you know, it's not like they keep adding tools. They're pretty much the same tools, but just in another color. Makita's talking about having 75 different tools that would work on the same battery. And they're coming out with new stuff every other month, every other new year. So just this is what I'm letting you people know, right? Look at, like, I just barely bought this little mini hand sawzall, like, for drywall patches. It's better than carrying the big one around all the time. So, you know, they have these little one. It has two different switches, this and the paddle switch, and it has a light as well. So, like I said, you see? Instead of carrying that big one, this one's good for working right under doorways, you know, because it's really compact space. You know, there's just nothing that you can really beat with Makita, you know. Like I said, yeah, Milwaukee's pretty good, but do they have the same lineup? I would put my tools up against any dewalt brushless, against any Milwaukee brushless any day, and we'll see who does the most work at the end of the day. I promise you it would be Makita, man. I promise you. They charge in 30 minutes. A 3 amp hour battery with their brushless technology will last just as long as any others almost. Oh, Milwaukee would do 3 or 4 more holes with their fuel lineup. They can't compare. I don't know why Makita didn't patent the brushless technology. Maybe it had already been up, but like I said, you guys need to do your research and check out what really the best is, and I don't think that anything comes close to Makita, man. I really don't. And oh yeah, Makita, when they first came out with their LXT lineup, I don't think any of the other tools really offering this. A couple were, but not a lot like Makita. So here's their sawzall. It's their just regular sawzall. They came with the kit that I bought a long time ago, and so, you know, it works or whatever. You take out this brush right here. DeWalt's, the only ones that would do this would be corded drills or corded stuff. These guys were already doing this before they're brushless. They were doing the carbon brushes, so you could just replace them. Because see, it doesn't work anymore. Pushing the trigger. Okay, they were offering this before they had their brushless, or you know, before they made it into, before they put their brushless technology into their lithium-ion lineup. So, you know, like I said, you might see this, but only on corded tools. You don't see it on cordless. They had this on all their skill saw, their grinder. They were thinking ahead before everybody else, man. I mean, you just got to look at stuff like that. Makita's just so innovative. You can't compete, man. I dare anybody, man. And they're coming out. They already have in Japan. They already have 4 and 5 amp hour batteries. I heard their new 4 amp hour batteries are going to be already in America this summer of 2014. They're already going to be coming out. So you guys should really just check that out and look into it. But like I said, man, there's just so many stuff that Makita offers that all the other brands don't even come close, man. First of all, the biggest lineup, they're industrial heavy-duty tools. I hear a lot of people crying about the chucks. Like, see, this is one other thing the guys from Tools in Action said. They were like, oh, well, why? The reason I don't like other drills is because they're not heavy-duty, just because they don't have a metal chuck. You know, and like the hammer drill, it doesn't have a metal chuck, but, I mean, they're heavier duty, or their higher-end brands do, but, I mean, what do you want a heavy chuck? What do you want a metal chuck for, man? I mean, if it drops or whatever, I think this could actually take a shock. I mean, I don't see the big difference. And if those guys were really working in the trades all day, if you're trying to run a hole up here in the top of your head, a metal chuck is way heavier than this. Why would you want something heavy? See, that's what I'm talking about. These guys don't know anything about the trades. They don't work every day. Oh, one of the guys was talking about like, oh yeah, he likes the tree lights or whatever. But if you notice, that tree lights right here is really fat. It's really big. It's really round. It's really fat. Like, if you're trying to run a screw up here in an angle, it gives you less visibility, so you can't really see. Even if it has an afterglow or whatever, you're trying to run your screw in a certain angle, since it's really wide, it's really fat, you're not going to be able to see what you're drilling into. Here's where the Makita, that's why it has a cone shape. I mean, a lot of other drills too, but dewalt's already changing it like that, you know, and it's like, it's useless. If you have this cone shaped, you could really see exactly what you're doing, even if you're at an angle, you know? It's little things like that Makita just dominates, you know. And like I said, oh, if you guys didn't know, their LXDT06 version brushless 3-speed impact drill is water and dust resistant, so, or dust proof and water resistant. And here's the other thing, like, dewalt has a 3-speed, and it's all trigger though. I mean, all that dust, all that dirt, water can get into its actual a trigger mechanism that moves up and down. This one is just a button, slow, medium, hard, right? And it's just a button. There's no way that water or dirt was going to get in there to jam up that switch. I think they should do that with their hammer drill. Like I said, man. Oh, it also has a T mode. Oh, you see right here, the light's on, right? If you're using it, this drill to screw a deck outside all day, and you don't need the light on, you can just turn it off. See? Turn it back on. See? I mean, Afterglow, they were the ones that created that, so I'm pretty sure. What else did they create? What else did Makita create? Let me go over this really quick. Oh, they came out with the two 18-volt batteries, which is 36 volt on their. They have a whole lineup with that alone. That they use dual 18-volt batteries. Oh, they actually developed and commercialized the impact drill driver. So, or the impact drill. So all those carpenters who love their impact drill, just know that Makita was the one that pretty much made it, because they took the idea of the impact wrench, and I know back then nobody ever used, like, you know, an impact driver for running in screws all day. Makita actually came out with that. They were the first ones. They commercialized and developed the impact driver, not the impact wrench. Don't get it wrong. The impact driver, which is made for running screws all day. That other thing is made to run nuts, lug nuts or whatever, your car nuts or whatever. But yeah, like I said, man, you can't compare Makita to any other brand out there, man. And like I said, I'll be willing to work running screws all day with some other guy at the end of that's what you should do the test of, man. Like, you know, get your Milwaukee fuel and get the Makita brushless with the new 4-amp-hour battery, and use the Milwaukee 4-amp-hour battery and put their top impact driver versus this one. You won't even come close to how many screws this thing does at the end of the day. I promise you. I promise you. Just because of the charge time, just because of their smart charger, everything that they have to offer, other tools don't come close, man. And that's why I think Makita is the best lineup for a real contractor who does everything every other type of day. You know, Milwaukee might be really heavy duty with some of their stuff, but when it comes to like all general purpose, hands down best stuff, I don't think anybody comes close to Makita and what they have to offer. So, like I said, if you guys have any questions, comments, whatever, man, you know, this is just the way I think. I've been doing it for so many years. I owned Ridgid. I owned the whole lineup of Ryobi. I owned all the lineup of the 18-volt Fuego, Ridgid. I used all dewalt in Milwaukee when I was working with companies, remodeling companies. And like I said, nobody had Makita in where I was working until I actually said, you know what, I'm going to try the Makitas. They look cool. I just like the color. And man, I'm so glad I did, man. I'm never going back to anything else unless they start to really suck. But other than that, I'm so happy with Makita, man. They're the best out there. I love all their products, man. Makita, hit me up, man. Representative. I speak Spanish. Hablo español. So hit me up. All right, guys. See you later.